So yeah, probably gonna wait. The other thing as well is, since it's Thursday, I want to be making sure I wait for good confirmations. But I think, because I don't know if he's in here right now, but I know Ben took buys on the retest, which still could have made sense. Could have secured some profits, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wait. Oh yeah. Because if we look at the daily, if we take a look at the daily, right? If daily's gonna go bullish, then it should just go straight up and fill the wick, you know, and then continue on. So I definitely feel like 142 is gonna be our key level here. See, the thing is, let's say this 15-minute candle closes bearish like this, and the next one breaks the high. Maybe that could also make sense for buys. Morning everyone on the YouTube. Yeah, it does seem as though we are closing bearish at this area here in 40 seconds time. So yes, I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of waiting. I mean, if the next one breaks the high, I think there's a very good chance that it's gonna continue moving bullish, because then this would be the first half of the 30-minute. But yeah, we'll see. Let's take a look on the 5-minute. Okay, so the 15-minute candle, it closed bearish, and it closed below 142. So yeah, I think a good buy is gonna be the break of the high of the 15-minute candle, and then we have a nice clean range at that point, keeping the stop loss below. But at the same time, it's 15 minutes before London Open, so we'll have to see about that one, because we don't want to get caught in any deep pullback. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. take a look at the 4 hour. See, this is the area on the 4 hour we could have some issues in this price zone, which is kind of what we're seeing now. 1 hour time frame tapped up into that area, retracing a little bit. 30-minute is currently bearish, rejecting this area currently. Let's take a look on the 15-minute. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think what I prefer is to see some consolidation for London Open, and then if we can get like a close above 142, I think it's going to be a great opportunity at that point to take buys coming up to 142. 200 is a nice 20 pip range. So yeah, I think it was a little bit of instinct to stay out of this initial push because of this area to the left. Made it very difficult. Plus 142 is a very strong area. It's also an important area for us in terms of, you know, our most recent price action, because effectively 142 was the support that was created for price to continue to retest the high yesterday. So we would want to see price closing back above 142 if we're going to anticipate it to go bullish. But we're not really sure what's going to happen here at this point. Yeah, I mean, the other thing that we could see is if it retraces back to this area and creates some support over here, like if we get a bullish candle, then we could anticipate with volume this area to break, you know. But let's wait and see here, because if this 15-minute candle breaks the high of the previous 15-minute candle, then I would execute buys at that point, you know, because it's something that I'll be looking for to see if we have a weak bearish candle in this area or a bearish candle, and then if we can break the high. It's a healthy candle, but at the same time it's not really a big candle, you know, it's not an influential move. Morning, we waiting for the retest. I'm not sure if it's necessarily the retest. I think it's more, I want to make sure we're going to be breaking above 142, you know, because we can see that we're already reacting to this area on the smaller time frames. So yeah, I think a break of this high is going to be good to continue up, or a close above this area also could be good. So I'm not sure if it's the retest. I'm not sure if it needs to retest this range, because this range is, yeah, like this price level here could be significant, but not as significant as 142 is to be breaking above, if that makes sense, you know, because if we're going to go bullish, we need to be closing above 142 at that point. Oh yeah. But yeah, I think if we break above 142, then we can have a real nice day here today for price to continue bullish. Just something that I was kind of expecting. We spoke about this in the Asian session, so I kind of predicted this would happen, you know, in terms of 4 hour doing a fake out. It did do the fake out. So once it closed back in the range, I mean, technically you could have looked for buys from the Asian session. I think it would have made complete sense. Let's take a look on the smaller time frames. Yeah, the buys were right over here at midnight. In fact, this Asian session was a great Asian session. And the analysis played out to a T for the Asian session there. We had a nice clean range up to 141.835. Called that out perfectly.
So temperatures 8 degrees in Plymouth today, but Newcastle and Edinburgh.
Sorry, you'd have to meet that one.
Really dense patches of hazing fog around, certainly a sharp frost. Quite.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, 15-minute candle is flipping bullish. So I think if it can break the high of the previous 15-minute candle, could be a good opportunity to execute buys at that point. Oh, heading up over here. Yeah, I think if it breaks that high, I think it's going to be a good opportunity to execute on the buys if this is the pullback. But either way, if it can't break that high, then we want to see price closing above 142 at that point. Take a look on the 5-minute. 5-minute trying to create some support. It's looking good so far. I think if we're going to break this high, then say if we break this high, the 30-minute will be closing above 142, right? So the buys would be valid. You know, if we break this high, we can continue into this next range. So I think that's going to be a good opportunity there. Otherwise, we would want to see the 15-minute candle closing above this area. But yeah, the only issue I have is obviously with London Open, we can see a pullback, but that's not guaranteed every day. You know, this could have been the pullback and now we're already continuing on. So alright, we're coming into the last 5 minutes. Last 5 minutes. So yeah, if it breaks that high, I'll be executing. Looks like we're coming up to break this high over here. Oh, there we go. We've broken the high on the 15-minute time frame. So executed buy positions right over here. So the stop loss is going to be kept around 10 pips below these current candles, and then we're going to set TP up over at 142.200. Awesome. Oh, lovely. Pushing over here. Oh, nice, GJ. We're already moving into some profits here. Right, setting my partial TP. If it will let me. Okay. Awesome. Got my partial TP set. Let's go, GJ. So as long as we're closing above this area, I think the buys obviously will still be valid at that point. But now we're moving into some profits here. We can manage the trade accordingly. Let's take a look on the 5 minute. 5 minute also trying to go bullish. 30 minute now flipping bullish. So yeah. So we've got 2 minutes left here. We want this 15-minute candle to be closing above 142 at this point, and then I think we're gonna have a good trade here this morning. as long as price can stay above 142, then it makes complete sense at that point for price to continue on. Are you in? I got scared with the bearish candle. Didn't hit my stop loss, but I got out myself. Yeah, I'm in buys now. I waited for this because I wanted to see price breaking above 142. We had a bearish candle close at this area. The next one respected the low, broke the high, anticipating volume to continue us up. We got London Open coming up in a minute. So if London Open can do a retest and stay above 142, then we could see a nice volume push to the upside. But we got 50 seconds here. It's closing above 142, so I think it's gonna be okay. 1 hour time frame. It's going bullish. 30 minute, 15 minute. Oh, you was in before. Okay. Yeah. It made sense. I think it made sense to buys. It just was this area here that put me off. It was the 142 level. I wanted to see price closing back above that zone for me to want to look for buys at that point. But yeah, man. So the 15-minute candle's coming to a close here. I think this candle should wick down and then continue moving up. So 30-minute candle also closed like a strong 30-minute. So it's pretty good. So yeah, we should see this maybe the pullback, and then we should see a nice continuation. Once we break this high right over here, then I think we're good to head up. Yeah, I think it's going to be super good to head up. Oh, we're breaking the highs. We're continuing bullish. Nice. Moving into profits now. 6-7 pips here. Awesome. Hopefully we can continue. Yeah, it was up around 7 pips. Let's take a look on the 5 minute. Yeah, hopefully we should see a nice volume push at this point. Why is 142 100 no resistance? Well, I'm looking in this range, and this was the high from yesterday, so this is kind of the target. And my 10 pips is already at this area anyway, you know, somewhere within this vicinity. So yeah, I think it's gonna be okay, because once we're closing above 142, I mean, there's like a very high chance at that point that we were gonna retest the high. So yeah, I think that's why. I mean, yeah, like we can have some issues over here, but I would hopefully be out of the trade by then, and then letting the piece run to 142 200 and see where we can go, I suppose, at that point. But it's nice to see this first 15-minute candle of London Open wicking down not too much and looking like it wants to head in our direction. If this 5-minute candle can close bullish, then it's definitely creating structure for the next 5 minutes to also go bullish too. Yeah, so hopefully now we should see a nice continuation, but just got to be patient here. Got to be patient. Yeah, I think it should continue moving up. I think it's a very good opportunity at this point. Sometimes it just stalls a little bit with the volume, toys with you a bit, but you just got to stick to your analysis, stick to your plan. So yeah, as long as the 5-minute candles are printing bullish, then it's all good. Okay, we've got a minute left here on the first 5 minutes of the London Open candle. If it closes bullish, then it's setting the tone for this first 15-minute candle, which is looking strong, looking good. We've got 50 seconds here. Yeah, I want it to just close bullish, and then, you know, we can start to say, okay, well, if we break our own low, maybe we could close some positions because we really want to see price continue, but we just have to wait at this point. But yeah, it did respect the low on the 5-minute. It's kind of go bullish, so maybe there's not this heavy pullback on today's London Open, but who knows. Okay. Just kind of floating around 5 pips at the moment. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's coming to a strong close here. Nice. So yeah, I think the next 5-minute candle should also continue moving up at this point. Oh, there we go. It's broken the high on the 5-minute candle. Yeah, we're kind of at this area, but I think we should. Yeah, I think we're gonna push through this zone here and retest this high. We should get a nice volume push, but we just don't know. We're not really sure at what point it's gonna come, you know. Just one of those ones. Here we go. Come on, GJ, man. What's going on? Come on, continue. Ooh, we got 8 pips in the bag here. We got 9 pips. Moving into profits now. Should continue moving bullish at this point. Oh, here we go. One more pip and we're ready to secure some profits. Come on, GJ. This 5-minute candle should continue moving up at this point. But either way now, see if price comes back to my entry point at this point, I'm definitely closing or taking some risk off that trade, you know. Yeah, while the 5 minutes just continuing to make higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, we're up about 8-9 pips here, just waiting to secure profits, and then we're going to be having a good day here today.
Yeah, it was a nice entry, man. I didn't get in. I want to wait for us to like break above 142, 220 first.
Yeah, nice. I think
yeah, it's a good trade.
Either way, you know, it's like what your comfortability is. So
yeah,
I wouldn't. Here we go. Should be able to secure profits here in a second. Just a little bit further.
It's just like yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Has anyone
Hello,
took
Senna.
that buy?
Yep, I'm in buys right now. About to secure positions.
I've just been making breakfast. I've had an entry.
Beautiful. Secure positions. Lovely. Yep, I'm all out. I'm all out of this trade. Perfect. Awesome.
I was actually thinking, like, once we actually got that close above that area, I was actually looking at getting on the pullback, but I didn't get good enough stops, so I just didn't get in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was a perfect trade. I secured everything around 10 pips, and boom, look at that. It's running right to our target here.
Yeah, same. I've literally had this. I've had a 200, 142, 200 target.
Yeah, awesome. Look at that.
I've had an entry. Yeah, I took the buys. Yeah,
Oh, nice,
I was making breakfast. I just didn't know whether anyone took them.
Oh yeah, of course. You already know we're on the ball over here. So, there you go. So guys, on the YouTube, if you caught that buy, drop a like on the stream. It was literally a 0 drawdown trade. Came right to TP at 142, 200. Just beautiful. Beautiful trade.
What was the entry at?
So my entry was at 142.033.
Oh, nice.
So basically, you know, I looked at this 142 area to the left-hand side, and yeah, waited for this candle to close above this area because I was looking at 142 as a potential problem zone. Oh wow, look at this. I should have left some runners on the plate. Anyway, yeah, then the next candle, as it was breaking the high, you know, I anticipated further volume to continue us up. Candle closed above, next one went down, broke the high. Perfect, just went 0 drawdown. If you look on the 5 minute, we didn't even see one bearish 5 minute candle. Yeah, just beautiful.
That's nice. That is actually that's going for like the break of the high of the previous daily.
Yep.
It's
And
looking
now,
like.
yep. Again, more analysis just playing out. Perfect.
I've had an entry at 142.007.
Nice. 142. 142.007.
Yeah.
142.007. Oh, you got entry right over here.
Let's have a look one sec. I'm just not.
Yeah, yeah. You got an. So you should be.
Yeah.
Have you secured positions at this point?
Oh yeah, I've closed full position.
Oh, nice, man.
I've
See,
closed that
see. So,
142, 126.
awesome, man. Awesome. So you got like 10 pips, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, 10 pips. 12
Perfect.
pips.
Mate, that's beautiful. That's
Thank
perfect.
you.
Yeah, awesome. So, yeah, like I say, guys, if you caught this trade, please drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate it. But we got some good pips this week, man. Despite the couple losses at the start of the week. This is why it's so important to remain disciplined towards the end of the week. Just, yeah, man. So now, back in profit for the week, baby. Big profit. Awesome.
I've also had a buy on gold last night.
You had a good buy on gold, yeah?
Yeah, literally, it was the first gold trade on this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had I'll send you a chart if you want
Yeah,
to
sure.
have a look at it.
Yeah, we can take a look. Was it a winning trade?
Yeah, it was a winning trade. Yeah, it was a good trade. I was pleased with that.
Awesome.
But then I've had to close early because there was a news about Joe Biden.
Oh, I think you
I
mean
knew.
where they impeached good old Trump.
Yeah, it was something to do with Joe Biden. I just seen like I didn't really pay much attention to reading the full article. It was just a tweet that was posted on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Then I seen a rejection, and I just got out. I literally, as I got out, I'd say gold dropped all the way down to one. It dropped all the way down to what is it? To 1829.
Yeah.
So it was just about time to actually get out.
Uh-huh. Oh, look at
I'll
this.
send you a chart to have a look.
Yeah, sure. Look at this retracement now. Came right up to 142 and now we're retracing. It looked like we were going to break through this zone, didn't it? It looked like we were going to continue moving, but no. Big pullback. But yeah, man, that was just a beautiful trade.
There we go. It's on the Discord.
Okay. Awesome. Let's take a look. 1 second. Close 50% of the bearish 15-minute, but half ran to TP. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. Nice work, Ben. Yeah, even if you let a position run at that point, it was good. I think even you could have added a position once we were breaking the highs over here, but just for future reference, something that you could look at, because when you're trying to reduce your risk over here, you're always trying to see, okay, well, what added confirmations are there? And we was breaking above that 142 area, we was breaking the highs. So I think just for future reference, Ben, you could think about maybe adding a position onto this trade, exactly where my entry was. So something that you could have done, but again, the fact you left the rest of the 50% to run to TP, perfect. Still great. Okay, let's check out Salim's chart over here. Let's check out his gold trade.
And then a 9 pip stop loss for like 30 pip profit.
Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, gold. Okay, price creates support on the 15-minute time frame. Entry at the break of resistance, 1848. Nice. Close full position at 1851 at 30 pips per. Oh wow, man, awesome. That was an excellent trade. That was an
Thank you, bro.
excellent
Thank
trade.
you.
Yeah,
That's solid.
yeah, that is a solid
Well played.
entry, solid trade. Yeah, perfect. I'd say just the one thing that I would say, it's just one thing. It's
Yeah.
no criticism, but I would say you don't need this support here, this area here, because this support, right, it's already tapping into this zone here. So technically this is your range at that point. You know, this is just this is just like a minor support, right? And in gold terms, there's enough range to take this trade to this area, but you would say that this is kind of like a rejection zone, a little bit difficult. But you see here, you had a nice clean big range. You know, nice clean counter to the left, not much rejection. So I can't really fault it. Otherwise, other than that, it was yeah, that's a fantastic trade.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I don't really know why I did draw that
support.
that supporting, and I'm just having a look.
I think you drew it because obviously like it did create this consolidation here, which you're not wrong. You haven't done anything I would consider wrong or anything like that. It's just for like let's say this zone here, right? You see how we pushed through this zone? It's because if you look at the candles and you read what they're telling you, they're reading that, okay, even though they closed over here, right, you could see how they were all tapping up into this price level, which is why when I was expecting volume to break through this area and reach the top of this zone. Yeah, it's like when with your example, it's the same thing, but on the, like kind of like the flip side is like although it's closing here, it's tapping into an area, so I would make this whole area my zone or my range in most cases. But obviously each individual case is like slightly different, but in most cases I would look at that as a whole zone. Does that make sense?
Yep, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect.
Makes sense, definitely.
Yeah, now don't want to overcomplicate for you, mate. It's
No, you're right, that buddy.
yeah,
It's always good to learn, you know.
yeah.
These things that what makes us improve in trading.
100%. But there you go. So yeah, we've got our pips here today. Man, we've only been on the stream like not even less than an hour. What are we gonna do for the rest of the day now? But yeah, no, really pleased about that. Fantastic. So what does that put me for the week now? I think that puts me at plus. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'm up 422 for the week now at this point. So that's pretty good. Turned it all around. 3 losses to start. Well, 2 losses and 1 break even on Monday, Tuesday. Stay complacent. Stay cool-headed. Wednesday came back with a win. Thursday, win. So at this point, I'm up for the week. And yeah, nice. Yeah, perfect. Awesome.
Nice, bro. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's hard. Trust me. It's, you know, after all this time trading live, it's always been my hardest thing for me as a trader. You know, you always have to recognize. Oh, what's that noise there? Oh, sorry, Salim. I think your mic's crackling up a bit.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's no problem. It's always been the hardest thing for me is when you start the week off with 2 losses, you know, or Monday comes, you take 2 trades because they look good, they don't play out. Tuesday, you take a trade, you get break even. So now you're like almost thinking, oh, I've only got 2 days now. So if I take any more losses, it's not going to end well. So then it kind of knocks the confidence to execute, but you have to stay true to your analysis in your game. And, you know, sometimes it's just not going to play out. So you do have to just stick with it. And it's a good example of just sticking with it and it works.
True.
So, awesome. Pleased about that. But yeah, since probably gonna go make a drink here in a minute. I could do with a nice drink at this point. But yeah, we've got another highlight here for this week, so very nice.
We might see a bit of a problem because if you go on the 1 hour, we've got that
Resistance.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's say it's a massive range. Say
Yeah.
if we have like what I'd like to see for like another potential buy, which more likely I wouldn't take it. I'm just happy with just one trade.
Yeah,
I'd
definitely.
say if we close, do you mind if I draw something?
No,
or?
no, go for it. You want the 1 hour time frame?
Please, yeah.
Yep, yeah.
Is that a 1 hour? Yeah.
Yep, this 1 hour time frame.
Yeah, just 1 sec, sorry.
Sure.
So I think is if we manage to close bullish and leave this area, I'd say the next thing I'd like to see is maybe a minor like a minor support to be created above the daily candle, and then we should not come back to this area at all. So we should then head bullish. So
yeah, I would agree.
This candles here,
yeah,
and then just head up. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of this consolidation, I would say that if we can, so effectively right now, price came up above this consolidation. Now it's retracing a little bit. So what that kind of suggests to me is that what we would need a close above this area. So basically, if we're closing above 142, 150 on the 1 hour time frame, it means that we can assert some support, something over here, right, in above this area, right, and then this will now be our platform to move further up, like you were saying, and then we shouldn't come back below this area. Now, that's not to say that we're not going to reject here now like we did yesterday. There's something that can very easily happen. The daily, I'm not sure if it's quite broken the high yet of the previous daily, because this is the previous daily candle. Yeah, so we haven't quite broken the high yet. So technically speaking, from a daily perspective, we need to break this high in order for price to continue on, right? But it may not necessarily break the high, right? Because if you think about it, let's zoom out from a daily perspective. Let's do some a little bit of learning here, because the daily is going to teach you a lot, because we literally just looked at something very similar. In fact, we took trades based off something very similar based on the 15-minute time frame, right? So
yeah, I think it was back in September, yeah.
Yeah, so we're coming to a resistance, right? This is your resistance on the daily. We see how this daily candle rejected this area to the left. We would need to break this high in order for price to continue. Now, let's say we don't break this high, but daily closes bullish. If the daily candle closes bullish above this resistance on the daily, on the daily, then I would say at that point, there's a very high chance that the next daily candle is going to do a retest and then continue moving up. You know, we see this happen a lot of times. If we're rejecting here, right, so we came back to this area and then we rejected again and we're still going bullish, we have two confluences. One, we're creating support at resistance. Two, we're closing above this area. And I suppose three, you're closing into these rejection wicks. So it creates a higher probability based on the daily that maybe Friday's candle, even maybe let's say Friday's candle closes bearish but above this range, it's setting up for next week to continue to move, and then eventually we should reach 142,700 based on the daily. And then I believe that's the weekly wick fill at that point.
Yeah. So I think like based on the 1 hour, I think once we manage to close above that range, then once we break that previous high, the daily high, then I think we just gain some really good volume to just push further up.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. We just need to, it's just one of those, like, you need to wait for it to break and close above, I suppose. So yeah, I think if we get a break and close above this daily resistance, and then let's say price does something like last time, because by then you should see like a pullback, some form of deep liquidity, because we've been moving bullish now for a fair bit of time. So maybe it's going to be something like yesterday that Kelsey pointed out, where you get like a weak bearish candle that wicks down back below the zone but closes above, and then if the next one can break the high, you could expect further volume to push us up. But there you go. Okay. Right. Do we have any questions here? That was lovely. Thank you. Well, I learned managing risk. Yep. It's a great lesson to learn. Jayan, go back to sleep for the rest of the day. Day is done. Nice. So Jayan's taking his trade and he's going back to bed. I wish I could join him, but we're here to guide the masses, as they say. Okay, so now we've obviously taken our trade on GJ. Let's do some fresh analysis here on some other pairs. Let's take a look on gold. So, looking on gold. Now, so we know that we created support in this zone. We know that it reacted off of this area here to left-hand side. But obviously, I mean, this would have had to have been like... so basically, if you've watched anyone in the group or anybody knows about impulse entries, then what you're going to see is that price has created a resistance at support. So technically a really good, not necessarily swing, but an impulse entry just based off the daily, just theoretically, would have been the break of this low right over here, because there was a very high chance once we break this low that gold would then push further bearish. Now it is retracing right now, so we're going to take a look on the smaller time frame. So let's take a look on the 4 hour. So yeah, it seems like this Asian 4 hour candle was that push. I think it made sense since the previous 4 hour closed like a weak bullish, closed back below this range here too. So let's just clear everything here based on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour time frame came down and tapped into a support. Right, we can see this 4 hour candle came down, tapped into a support, and now retraced. We know that we had a previous consolidation range here, and it seems as though the 4 hour candle yesterday at the end of the day came back and closed back in this range, and it's now created a resistance. So maybe we're going to get this 4 hour wick fill, but we're not really sure at this point. Let's take a look on the smaller time frames. So looking on the 1 hour time frame. Again, let's remove everything here for a sec. So looking on the 1 hour, now what we're going to see is that we have a support formed right over here, right? We know that it's tapping into this like liquidity zone at this point. So we can kind of measure this range here. So effectively, it's coming down, tapped into this area, but it closed above this previous support. One sec. Oh. Sorry, had to sneeze. Right. So we know that it's closing above this support. Now at the same time, we can see how it's rejecting this previous zone on the 1 hour time frame. So what we would want to see is we would want to see this 1 hour candle come down and close below the support in order for price to continue moving bearish at that point. Now we have a 100 pip range coming down to 1828. I think that could be a really good target for sells at this point based off the 1 hour time frame. Let's take a look on the 30-minute for a sec. Now, looking on the 30-minute, to be a bit more cautious, you'd want to maybe look at this support here because we're in that range theoretically. Let's look at this. Yeah, so if you want to be more cautious, we look at this. But what you want to do is you want to use your 30-minute and your 1 hour time frame as confluence. So if the 1 hour candle is breaking below support, you may look at your 30-minute and be like, okay, well, now we can look for maybe like an impulse entry where if the 30 minutes closing above support and the next one breaks the low, we're anticipating the 1 hour time frame to continue moving bearish. So I mean, we do have a minor support right over here, which is something you may need to be aware of. So let's measure this range here now. So I think it's going to be like 30 pips, 40 pips. That's still pretty big range for gold. But yeah. So see in this zone, like just for example, Salim, see in this zone, right? We've got this support right over here, yeah? We can see how we're closing above this support, closing above this support. We have resistance here, but due to this price already tapping into this minor area, I would wait for the whole range to break at that point. You know, that's just while I just saw this fresh example here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That 15 minutes a bit messy at this point, so probably gonna want to stick to the higher time frames. Now, at the same time, if we can break above this resistance over here, 1844, I think there's a very high chance that gold can go bullish for 63 pips, coming up to 1850, 1851, this area right over here. So we're going to mark these zones out. We want target down over here, and then we've got our zone. Yeah, perfect. We can just bring this up a little bit. Perfect. Yeah, so I think gold can continue moving bearish. I just think the Asian session 4 hour didn't have the volume to break through the zone. So now we're coming into like, you know, London session, pre-New York. Pre-New York probably going to have more volume. So I'm thinking you're going to see more sells for gold later on in the session here today. We've got a real lack of people on the stream here today. I wonder if there's a few more other streams going on. Since we've taken our trade so early, people are like, okay, now we can go see where else we can find some trades. So I know the 40 people in here are the ones that are still here to learn. And so respect to those people. Okay. So yeah, gold's just consolidating right now. What's GJ doing? So GJ 30-minute closed at this area. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. 1 hour still open. So we've got 25 minutes left for the 1 hour candle to close. 4 hour. Yeah, we need to wait for the 1 hour candle to close at this point. Okay, let's take a look at Euro JPY. Did anybody see that yesterday's analysis played out perfectly on Euro JPY based on that 4 hour resistance? That was awesome. They eat and leave low. Yeah, they do. They come here, they copy my trades, and they go. That's all good. People are going to do what they're going to do, you know. But I always say, like, I'm not here for those people, you know. I can't turn them down. I can't decipher between who's here to learn and who's here to copy. But, yeah, I know who the day ones are because they remain true. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys. That's who I do it for at the end of the day. I do it for you guys. You know, so okay, so looking at the daily time frame on Euro JPY, this was spoken about in the pre-Asian session analysis. So we're kind of anticipating EJ to potentially reach the bottom of this whole consolidation since we closed back below this resistance. So we're kind of maybe expecting this daily candle to flip bearish and then continue down. So let's take a look if our idea can be valid based off the smaller time frames. So what do we need to see based off the smaller time frames? Well, we can see here that the 4 hour time frame has tapped into a support. we can see that we tried to create resistance over here on the 4 hour, but seems as though the Asian session 4 hour candle closed bullish above this range. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. Now, looking on the 1 hour, it gets a little bit messy at this point, but in theory, the 1 hour candle is closed back above this support, but still is consolidating here. So the 1 hour time frame is just consolidating, but it is closing back above this area. And we would need it to close back below that zone for any chance of price continuing down, because then that would be the 4 hour time frame, you know, doing a fake out and then continuing down with the momentum at that point. So we can see how the 1 hour time frame tapped into this support here to the left hand side. But yeah, so if we break above 126.430 here on the 1 hour time frame, then maybe we're going to correct some of this move. I think a good target's going to be 126.520, but I know that the range is going to be minimal. Yeah, it's like 8-9 pips, not really good. But at the same time, you know, if it breaks through the zone, then a good target's going to be this area over here, around 126.590. So you're looking at, you could get 15 pips, secure something over here, and then let a piece run. It's probably the best way to go about it, since the ranges are so small. And then for sells, I think you could target this low, but let's take a look at the 30 minute anyway. Yeah, see, I think that's going to be a reasonable range there, even for the 30 minute. Looking for sells, I mean, I think we need to remove this here for a second, because this is the range that we had. So I think a good sell target's obviously going to be to the low that was created over here, if we can close back below this area. So this is like an 8 pip range. Again, you'd want to maybe secure something here and then let a piece run if it can break below and then reach this next support where we tried to go but couldn't have the volume to get down there. So if we measure this like overall range, then you could get a possible 15 pip move, but you would need this minor support to break, and then you can get your extra 8 pips or so. Oh yeah, so that's EJ. I think we can actually neaten this up a little bit based off the 30 minute here. It does make this range slightly smaller, but not a lot you can do about it. Let's check out Euro NZD. Let's go from the daily here. So it looks like the daily is kind of consolidating a little bit. Yeah, so it's kind of, we create support here on the daily. It came back to this area to do like a retest, so it's just kind of consolidating right now. So for further sells, you know, you'd want this daily support to break, and then daily time frame can continue down to this support at 1.68100. Right. Let's take a look on the 4 hour time frame. Okay, looking on the 4 hour time frame, what we're going to see is that, just remove everything here actually. So looking on the 4 hour, it gets a little bit tricky here, because we're kind of reacting to this level. We have support here, we have support here. So we're going to obviously need to go over our most recent support, which is going to be this area right over here. So it seems as though the 4 hour candle came down and is breaking below this support. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. It's going to give us more information. So yeah, looking on the 1 hour, we broke below this support. We may be coming up to do like a retest, but we're not really sure. Let's take a look on the 30 minute. So looking on the 30 minute time frame, in fact, so we had a low created, we broke below the low, we now closed back above this range, but in theory, it gets a bit tricky at this point. But I think the best thing to do is look at this area as a resistance. So we are approaching a resistance, because then in my head I see it as, okay, well, if we break above this resistance, then we have a clean candle coming up at that point. So that's probably going to be the best potential outcome that, you know, we can have. So if we break above this minor resistance, you know, like a close above, sorry, or a support formed, then you have a nice clean candle, nice clean range. You got 15 pips to at least this area if you want to be conservative. But if you want to look for the mirror of this candle, then it's a nice 23 pips at that point. right? Now, at the same time, if we reject this area, then we've created a nice clean move coming up. So if we reject this area again, there's a chance that we could come down and retest this low. But in theory, you would want to see some form of strong resistance, and then price start to create lower lows, lower highs on the smaller time frames. But yeah, Euro NZD, it looks a little bit messy, but it's kind of what we can make out is going on here. So we looked at EJ, we looked at Euro NZD, we'll look at GCAD in a sec. What's GJ doing? It's retracing now. Take a look at the 1 hour. 1 hour, it seems as though it's struggling to close above this area. Gold. Ooh, looks like gold's trying to break above here based on the 1 hour. Maybe since we created that 1 hour support. 30 minutes trying to break above. It's breaking the high. 15 minute. Also trying to break above here. So. Okay, yeah, we'll do a breakdown of GCAD here in a sec. Harrison, mate, can you please change chart background to solid back, please? Thanks. I kind of prefer it being the blue, the darker blue. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like my chart. I've got used to this now. This is my, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, yeah. I like this color. I think it goes well. But hey, you can put your own chart to the black screen. Black screen's good. Let's see what it looks like with a black screen then. Color theme. I'm not really sure how you do a black screen. It is, oh no, that's black. Oh yeah, see, I don't really like that. That's way too bright on the eyes. Yeah, not really a fan. Prefer this color. Yeah, see, that's nice. That's a nice color. Okay. In fact, we'll break down GCAD when I get back. I need to go make a drink at this point. I need to delete that zone on the daily. Man, oh man. Okay, right, we'll leave you this. See how we get on here. Yeah, so we'll have to see how the 1 hour candle closes at this point. We can remove this now. Okay, right, I'm gonna go make a drink quick. I'll be back in around 5-10 minutes time, and then if anybody's got any charts they want me to look at, any questions, anything like that at all, then yeah, we'll go through all of that and we'll break down the FTSE and GCAD. So bear with me 10 minutes and I'll be back. Thanks very much. What's going on, guys? Sorry about that. Right, we're back. So it does seem as though the 1 hour time frame has rejected this area. Let's take a look on the smaller time frames here. So yes, looking on the 30-minute, seems as though we reacted to this resistance here despite coming up to fill the range. So it looks like we're coming back to this area. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. So okay, let's do some fresh analysis here let's look at this right now. So 1 hour time frame is rejected, but it's still not to say that we couldn't continue moving up. There's no reason to say we still can't head up. Let's take a look on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour's got 50 minutes left to close, right? It came up to this resistance, it came up to this high, it is retracing. Right, so we're not really sure yet if the next 4 hours going to fill this range. We're not really sure. So let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So this is the area that we broke out of on the 1 hour time frame. Now we may need to do some form of retest before continuing further up, right? We may need to do that. But we're not really sure yet. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. So now looking on the 30-minute, again, this is the area where we may need to create some support, because right now price has made a high. So right now, if we focus in on the most recent price action, this no more matters no more. We know that we've reacted to this area, but in theory, this is our resistance. So this is the thing. If we can create support over here at 141,920, then I think there's a very high chance that we can come up and retest this high. This high is around 20 pips away. Okay, so now we have a new range, we have a new target, and in fact this looks more cleaner than the initial push, right? Because now price has made a high, it's retracing. If it creates some support, there's a very high chance it's going to retest this high. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. Now if you look on the 15-minute time frame, okay, we have a support right over here now that was created on the 15-minute time frame. So what I would say is that in theory we need to respect this area, but I think we need to see support forming above this zone here at 141, 950, 960, somewhere over here. So yeah, or we can even, for the moment, because it kind of tapped into this zone, price needs to just stay above. As long as we stay above around 141, 940, 950 area, then we can continue bullish at that point. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see over here, because since candles are printing bearish, we would need to see like a strong 15-minute candle over here and then a break of that high to continue moving up. Now at the same time, now what do we do if price breaks and closes back below 141,920? Then I would say the buys is out of the window. The buys is out of the window at that point, and I would say that we have a good chance of coming down and correcting some of this move, initially coming down to around 141,820, which is around, let's measure this range here. So it's around the 10 pip range, not really a good range. But then once we break that, we have another range over here. Let's measure this range, around 10 pips again. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. Yeah, I mean, based on the 30-minute, we have a clean range. So I suppose we could just focus in on the 30-minute range for the minute, paying attention to this area where we could have some issues on the 15-minute. So now if we measure this range on the 30-minute time frame, we have a nice clean 20 pip range at that point. Okay, so now we want to make sure we're being cautious here. I mean, I've already taken a trade, but you never know, something nice could also present again, but not really looking for that, just kind of if it happens, it happens. So we'll take a look here, we'll wait. I think there could be another move on GJ, you know, because when price is retracing to an area that is broke out, it can do one or two things. It can create support to go up, or it can close back in the range and correct this whole move coming up. So we're not really sure. The 1 hour time frame signaling a recurrent rejection. 4 hour also rejecting this area. But if we can create support, like I say, you know, then there's no reason why price can't come up to retest this high that we've created in today's session. So yeah, just a little bit of waiting here involved. We've got 30 seconds left for this 15-minute candle to close. Looks like it's closing above this area, the support. So just a little bit of waiting here involved.
Yeah, I'm literally just waiting for support to be formed around 141, 900, 920.
Yeah.
Because we have made a high at it, so
Yeah.
just got to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Because even if you took the buys and it didn't play out, you know, you have an 80% probability rate on that trade, you know. So you're always going to say to yourself, I'm going to look to take that. So if we look on the 15-minute, now since the 15-minute time frame has closed below this minor support, it does make it harder for price to continue up. But again, maybe you want to wait to see how this 30-minute candle closes in 15 minutes. And then, yeah, we'll have to just think there's a bit more waiting involved. But this whole area, this zone, we need to be respecting. So it's kind of like this zone here. You know, this is a zone. And this is the area where we could see some, you know, probably going to see some wick down into this zone. But what you want to see is price closing above, you know, candles closing above, and then next stop, retest the high. Very simple concept, but you have to just wait for proper confirmations. Right, I'm just going to munch my toast. I'll be 2 secs. Okay. So I think if people are looking for buys, there's a couple of options. But also you have to be willing to also look for sells because of, okay, let's say this 15-minute candle closes a week bullish and the next one breaks the low, then that also would be the new 30-minute. Yeah, I think you need to wait at this point. There's no buys, there's no sells yet, but there's a couple of options. Now the options are, if this current candle surpasses the high of the previous 15-minute candle, that's also one confirmation for price to go up. It's the riskiest, but it's one confirmation. The second confirmation for price to go up is if this candle closes bullish, right? Maybe something like, let's say something like this. Nice, strong, healthy 15-minute candle. And the next one breaks the high of the previous 15-minute candle. The next one can also go bullish, right? Now, that's the best scenario. The other thing that can happen is you may need to wait for the 30-minute candle to close bullish, because sometimes what's going to happen is the first 15-minute candle closes bullish and then the next one breaks the high in the first part of the candle, but then comes down and closes something like this. So then you get an opportunity where the 30-minute candle, right, would close then something like this, right? Because it would then leave a wick because of this rejection candle that we have. Okay, so there's a few options. Now, once this candle closes bullish on the 30-minute, you could wait to see if we break the high of that 30-minute. You could enter in on the close, keeping stops below, but you would want it to seem a healthy 30-minute candle. It looks like we're trying to create support here, but we're not really sure yet because we've still got 5 minutes. So let's wait and see what happens anyway, and then we will we'll assess the situation then. So let's wait for this 15-minute candle to close, and then because there's no reason to say that this 1 hour wick couldn't get filled. But right now we have to go off what we're seeing, and right now we see rejection. So we need proper confirmations. Let's look at gold here. Gold's still ranging. Gold's ranging. Euro JPY still ranging. Yeah, see, Euro NZD, it reacted off this resistance. Let's take a look on the 15-minute. Still at that area. Okay. If it closes below 141.908, then it's waiting time. Lots of consolidation under that. 141.908. I mean, yes and no. On the 15-minute, yes, but on the 30-minute, you have a nice clean range. If we break back below this area, I think there's a very high chance that it will come down to 141.730 at that point, which is a 20-pip range, if it can. I mean, look at the structure on the 5-minute. It just looks bearish, but we're not really sure yet. See, if this 15-minute candle closes like a weak bullish like this, and the next one wicks up and then breaks the low, I think price is actually going to continue down and not go up. So, just have to wait. Yeah, you need to wait for this candle to close because it hasn't printed yet. Seems like we're breaking down over here. If you look at the 5-minute structure, it's bearish structure now on the 5-minute. Ooh, looks like we're breaking down. I don't understand why sometimes the consolidation isn't taken into consideration and sometimes not. I suppose just experience. It's not okay. If we look at the 30-minute here, if you look at the 30-minute, what you need to understand is, yes, this is consolidation, right? This is consolidation, 100%. But when price is looking left, it focuses on this move. You know, it focuses in on this area. We had a clean move from support. So if we're breaking back below, if we're closing back in the range, there's a very high chance that we'll reach the bottom of that range. You know, because we're looking at where's the next support level. So now you can see we're coming back in the range at this point. So I'm thinking the buys at the moment are out of the window. As it stands, the buys are out of the window. But yeah. So yeah, but you see, let's say this particular area here, this is a bit harder because you've got these rejections here. You know, yes, in theory, it should reach the bottom of this area, but it's not as clean as, let's say, like this move up, you know, because this was a clean move up from support. You could argue this was also a clean move up as well, but it's a little bit more difficult. But in theory, it works the same. Oh, we're breaking down hard over here. We're coming back in the range. Seems like that 1 hour rejection was a 1 hour rejection now. Yeah, there's no buys at this point. Oh, I wonder what daily candle's doing now. Oh, it's retracing hard. 4 hour. Oh, look at the 4 hour. See, if this 4 hour candle closes weak bullish like this, I mean, we could be heading down. Who knows? Oh, it's proper coming down at this point. Okay, so 15-minute candle closed, but it closed with no wick to the bottom. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. Minute also closed with no wick to the bottom. Yes, I understand, but the previous buy you did, you waited a higher line because you saw some kind of consolidation before. Do you mean because where my target was, or do you mean because of this area here where I waited to take the break of the high? Because of, see, that was because we had an area here. We had like a support, and in effect 142 was a strong area, and I wanted to see it close above 142 because then I would feel confident. If you look left, let's say on the 15-minute or the 30-minute, you're going to see this clean move to complete this consolidation. And at the same time, all these candles were all tapping up into this area, which is where I had target, based on where it seems the liquidity is being generated. Because remember, these wicks, right? Yes, they're rejections. Yes, you know, they're all the things that we will say. But what really are they is liquidity. This is the price level that there is a premium for. We know that because we can see how many times price was tapping into this level and then heading down. So in real, what that really means is, you know, this is just maybe what you would call an institutional level. Right? We don't really know. We don't know institutional levels, but we can kind of see them on the charts based off the time frames. You know, if price is tapping into an area multiple times, then you can consider it an institutional level, especially on the higher time frames. Like right now, you can see how previously we rejected this area yesterday. We've come back to this zone and we've done it again. So now we can say, okay, this is definitely some form of institutional strong level. Okay, that's just kind of. But that just kind of comes with like experience, just kind of working out, reading a little bit in between the lines of where the most important areas are and stuff like that. So But yeah, I hope that helps to explain what you was saying there. Is it snowing in London? No, no snow. It's pissing it down. Just rain.
I think as well, if you're expecting a push, like volume coming in, then it's like it doesn't matter all the time if there's some areas to the left, like small areas.
Yes. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes for
But I
sure.
suppose
Yeah.
you've got to anticipate it, and you've got to be a bit experienced for that, though.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, a lot of times the volume is gonna break through an area, but that's when you get so like see here. The reason why I waited was because of this bearish candle, right? Because it reacted to this area at the left. But other times it may just continue, which, you know, is just part of what it does. You know, it either does or it doesn't. So, but yeah, either way, even if you took buys somewhere over here, you know, you're still anticipating an area to break, like what Kelsey just said. So, yeah. But I wasn't expecting us to once I saw a daily coming up to the high, I was like, okay, now we're going to break this and continue on. But it seems as though we're struggling. Think it will get into consolidation here also because of the time. Yeah, I mean, if we look, because it's kind of already come down to this minor support on the 15 minute, it actually presents quite a good opportunity. And the reason I say that is because despite this candle having no wick to the bottom, right, since we've rejected this area, since we're closing back below this zone here on the 30-minute time frame, which is exactly where we needed price to respect to continue up. Since we're doing that, if you can get a minor resistance formed right over here, so let's say because it's closed back in the range, it's going to come up, you want it to respect the top of this range. So if you get like a bearish candle closing over here, I think you can take a really good sell, anticipating this like minor little area to break and then to head on down to the bottom of this range. I think that could be a really good sell, but obviously you have to wait again for confirmations. We don't know, this candle could just flip and head off down, something that can happen, but this is the type of move that I would be looking for right now had I not in buys. Let's take a look on the 5 minutes. Sometimes 5 minutes also going to give you that structure. So the previous 5 minute was bullish. So we'll see how this 5 minute candle closes. Wow, that would be some rejection if the 4 hour can flip bearish. That'd be crazy. Oh, Salim's off. See you, Salim. No worries, mate. Oh, he's already gone. Okay. Yeah, I think a bearish 15-minute candle is going to be the best thing here for price to continue down. For sure. Okay, gold's still ranging. Gold ranges a lot in the London session actually. GCAD trying to break down as well. GCAD trying to break down. Okay, perfect. So it looks like Euro NZD broke above this area. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, since this candle had no wick to the top, probably want to see some support formed in this area here. I suppose we can kind of view it like this a little bit. Yeah, as long as we can respect this area, we can continue moving up. Yeah, that makes sense now. So it looks like it's trying to do a retest, and then I think it's going to continue on. So Euro JPY is breaking up over here. Needed to have been the break of this high to continue bullish. Oh, FTSE hit our target over there. Awesome. No confirmations though. Oh yeah, maybe on the 15-minute time frame there was confirmation. Yeah, nice buys. Okay, let's see what's going on here with GJ. So we've got 2 minutes left here for the 15-minute candle to close. Just wait here to see what happens. Okay, so if you look at the 15-minute candle, let's take a look at the 5-minute. So 5 minutes creating some resistance over here. Let's take a look on the 15. So yeah, I think maybe a bearish candle is going to be the best confirmation. Yeah, not really enough range to sell at the low right here, so probably going to want to see a bearish candle in this area here. But in effect, I'm thinking we should fill to the bottom of this range over here. I mean, even just looking at the 5-minute candles, if the 5 minutes start to surpass these lows right here, it could be a good opportunity to expect this minor support to break and then continue moving down. Could be. And then you could keep your stop loss above this zone here. Wait for this to break, and then your TP is down over here. So if anything, this is your reward based on the 5 minute. See how this plays out here. So this is your reward on the 5 minute compared to your risk. We'll do a little green line for reward. So this is your reward. All profit. So yeah, since we're breaking below this area here now, I think I'm gonna see on the 5 minute, see how it plays out. Ooh, 5 minutes. Just slowly starting to ease back into looking at the 5-minute candles again. After many months of not watching them. But yeah, of course, the stronger confirmation is going to be to wait for the 15-minute candle to go bullish. But oh, look at this. Yeah, maybe that's not a good idea then. Yeah, maybe it's going to be best to wait for the 15-minute candle to close there. Okay, so it seems as though the 15-minute is breaking the high of the previous 15-minute candle at this point. So, yeah, maybe, yeah, I'm not really sure at this point. Suppose the 1 hour's got 11 minutes to close. Yeah, I was kind of expecting the 5 minutes to continue this move down, but hey H, thought to also share here. Need to improve my labeling. Any feedback? Yep, let's check it out. Yeah, so Sergio, you could have put it in the Zoom chat as well, but I appreciate sometimes I don't always look at it. Okay. Okay, let's check this out. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Oh, nice. So that was that AUD JPY. Very nice. 30-minute time frame. So you're looking for buys. Only a strong 4-hour bullish trend. Detected key resistance and support zones to current price. Enter buys once we strongly rejected support zone. TP few pips above resistance, and stop loss few pips below support area. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think your zone could be a bit neater. Like if you want obviously some feedback, I think in terms of a zone, you could have just focused on this area You know, because as long as price stayed above this area, it was going to continue bullish, right? Because, you know, this was a key support level. You can see create support over here, came back to this area, rejected this area again, came to this area again, and when candles started to go bullish, right, I think it was a good idea. Also, I mean, I know, I'm not sure how to zoom in here. How do I zoom in? Okay, I'm not really sure how to zoom in. There must be oh, here we go. Oh yeah, perfect. Right, if we zoom in, I think a good entry could have been like based off a scalp. So if you look, as a minor area, we created a minor resistance right over here. Now I know it's very hard to see, but since we created a minor resistance over here, I mean, yeah, I suppose the entry was kind of what you're looking for. Maybe because you've got it here and not over here, but I just would have said that, you know, maybe you could have entered in based off this retest down over here, or yeah, like the break of the high. Yeah, kind of what you've got. Just because this starts here, I presumed you had like a buy stop or something. But yeah, I think entries would have been good here. Secure maybe like positions here, then take more positions off, maybe somewhere around this zone. And then, yeah, I would have targeted maybe this high up over here and then let the rest run at that point. But yeah, can't really fault it. Good trade, played out. So, it's perfect. Awesome. So, yeah. Ooh, so GJ is moving bullish and we need to zoom out. Perfect. Okay, so I mean, if GJ is coming back above the range here, then if this is doing a fake out to the downside with the 30-minute, then evidently this is why, maybe why the 1 hour time frame is respecting this area. In fact, I've seen this happen a lot of times. I suppose that's why it's always good to wait. So, I mean, in terms of what could happen now then, if this candle closes above. So what I've seen with this, since we're closing back above this area here, if the next one wicks down like this and then breaks the high right over here, I think that could be a really good entry to take buy. Something like this could happen for price to continue up, and then you get another little wick and then complete this move. That's if this candle closes above this range. If it does, I've taken this trade before a few times, so yeah, something that can happen.
It'd be a nice little fake out, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To retest the high.
Yeah. That can happen. But this 30-minute needs to close back above this range. Otherwise, if it closes below, then, you know, the 15-minute time frame may create some resistance over here to continue moving down. So this is where you have to be careful. But this is your key zone here now. So literally, there's one or two things that's going to happen in this situation, right? This candle's either going to close above, and then the 30-minute should wick down and then break this high and continue on. Or if it closes below this level, again, it could create some resistance here to continue this move down with this heavy bearish momentum that we've just seen. But you have to wait. This is why it's really important to wait for candles to close. Got 5 minutes left. Gold still ranging. Euro JPY. Ooh. Euro NZD coming back in the range. It's tough. Yep, no problem, Sergio. I don't speak French, I'm afraid. Okay, seems as though we are coming back above this area. Take a look on the 5 minute. What's going on here in 5 minutes? Yeah, you do have to wait for this 30-minute candle to close. That's the only problem. One hour is super clear to see what just happened. Yeah. I think it's important where the 1 hour candle closes, because if it closes above this area, then the buys are still, like, they're still in sight, you know. But this 30-minute candle is looking good to where it's closing. I think it's looking pretty good. Just take a look on the 15-minute time frame. It's looking good. Yeah, I think if this 30-minute candle closes like as it is, the next one wicks down and breaks this high right here. I think there's a very good possibility that we can come up to 142, 150. Got a minute left, coming up to a minute and a half left over here. What time did you catch this buys today? The buys today. I think we took buys at around 7:45. I took buys. Yeah, I think it was around 7:45, 8 a.m. It was the break of this high right over here to continue up. Um, 1 hour worked all the way down to support and now retracing and closing probably really nicely to go bullish. Is that a correct analysis? Yeah, so okay, you got two confluences here. If the 30-minute is closing back above this range, it means this move down is a fake out, and then you can have that confirmation because the 1 hour time frame is still respecting this area, right? So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good for price to continue. I've seen this trade happen. I've taken this trade many a times, and most of the time it's gonna work out. You know, the next one should wick down and then break this high. You want to see this break of the high though, more than likely in the second half of the candle. But either way, once it breaks this high, we should continue moving bullish at that point. Probably see a candle something like this once it surpasses this high. Yeah, I've seen this before. In fact, I literally took this exact trade on a simulation like last week. How long have you been trading? I've been trading for around 4 years now. 4 years I've been trading. Okay, so now perfect. So if since the 30-minute candle is closed back above this area, let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame. Awesome. So in effect, you have places to reduce risk, right? Because if we break this high, you have, okay, maybe your stop loss is going to be slightly larger, right? But that's kind of just, sometimes part of it. So you always have to just manage your trade accordingly to that. But it is breaking the high in like the first 30 seconds of the candle. So there is a possibility that it may come down to create a bottom wick. So if you've already taken the entry, it depends on what type of trader you are, whether you want to hold the drawdown, if it does come down to make a bottom wick. But let's take a look on the 5-minute. Yeah, I don't know. I never like it when it breaks the high so early on, because it can come down to create a bottom wick. And then I know the drawdown gets a bit scary, but
Don't think I'm interested in this now. Don't know. It depends if we wick down enough, but yeah, it's broken the high early on.
yeah, I mean, the more comfortable trade would be to wait to see if it creates a bottom wick, and then if it comes back up to break the high, you could take an entry. But I mean, if you're not confident, then I would suggest maybe like paper trading it or seeing how it plays out, and then for next time, you've seen this happen before. Like, this is how I know that I've seen this structure before, and there's a very high possibility once we break this high that we should continue up. But it's just the fact it's broken the high within the first minute. There's always that chance it's going to pull back to create a bottom wick or do a retest and then continue moving up. But if it doesn't do a retest and it just continues up, then you knew that where the entry was. You knew where it was.
I'm a little bit worried about, I don't know if this is a valid area, but on the 15-minute at 141, 960, you've got that little area there. Just wondering if we would possibly reject that and continue down.
I don't think so. Just because we broke through this minor support when we were moving down, and since we're coming up, price should be focusing now on this clean move that came down. So we should reciprocate now to continue up. So that's what I would say. I would say this is not valid information at this point anymore. But I just think in general, because of this, I would say more so maybe because of this like zone here, because this is like a zone. And since we're rejecting the top, maybe that you could say that's like put you off a little bit. But based on the smaller time frames, it's giving confirmation that we can continue higher. But obviously not every time is it going to play out. So I don't know, if you're not 100, like what I did like last week, if you're not 100%, if you're not willing to put your money on the line, then just paper trade it, see how it goes, and journal it like it was a normal trade. And even if it was a win, you can still say to yourself, well, I would have had 2 wins this week, I would have had 3 wins this week or whatever. So you're still like learning, but you just didn't put the money down, So yeah, see, this is what I'm always concerned about. It breaks the high, then people start getting in drawdown because it could come down and create a bottom wick. So you kind of always, with this type of entry, probably want to see the bottom wick first. So we'll see here. What do you think of Magic Keys? I think Magic Keys is great. I think it's a great tool. I use it. I think it's really helped me with my... I think it's not necessarily about risk management. Like you can do all the things that it does. Not really, actually, you can't. But like certain things you can do, like say from your phone. But it's just really, it's aggravation. You'd have to like close a certain lot size, and then you have to close another certain lot size if you want to do this, or you have to type in your stop loss. So with this tool, you can just click a button and it does it for you. So I would say if you're a full-time trader, it's 100% worth getting. If you're someone who's fairly new, maybe you don't need it like now. Like, not to say you don't need one, but you don't necessarily need it yet. But that's up to you, obviously. But yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I mean, since I've got one, especially with the new update. The new update is just class. Yeah, the new update's class. You can set a partial TP. So the amount of times, how many times, Kelsey, have we been on the stream and price goes to 10 pips really quickly and then pulls back and we're like, man, we didn't even get to secure.
Yeah.
So so in those situations, what we can do is we can just set a partial TP, right? Take our hands off the mouse, put our feet up, and if price is going to go to wherever you want to secure profits, the minute it surpasses that take profit level, it's going to take you out of the trade. It's going to take however much you wanted off that trade. So in terms of that, it's perfect. Putting stop loss at break even, it's easy, it's perfect. I would say in terms of, you can even set partial stop loss, which is where you can place like a say like a partial stop loss here, and you can say, well, if price surpasses this area, I want 50% to be taken off the trade, you know. So yeah, I think it's 100% worth it for any full-time trader.
It'll definitely save you the money you paid for it in the long run.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Oh yes, 100%. 100%. I think it's great. It's a really clever idea, I have to admit. But yeah, I mean, you can even, set a buy stop and then set your stop loss, your take profit, your partial stop loss. In fact, you can literally set the whole thing up and not even have to worry, because you already know if it's gonna, you already know that if it reverses on you, you've set the parameters about your risk management. You already know that you've set the parameters on how much you want to take off, if a low is broken, if a high is broken, whatever. Same way, you've got your take profit, partial take profit set, so that you're not worried about losing out on profits, because that's the place that you want to be able to secure. So yeah, I'd have to highly recommend it. Risk management is important. Yes, risk management is probably the most important aspect of trading. You could be the best at reading candles. You could be the best at understanding price action. But if you haven't got risk management in place, it's just not going to work out. It's just not going to work very well. 142.055 is not a 1 hour resistance. 142.055. Yeah, it's a 1 hour resistance. But I mean, the whole idea is that we rejected this area. We rejected this area. So you would want comfort. See, sometimes your 1 hour resistance is going to be here, and then your 30-minute resistance is going to be over here. So, I mean, I always just stick to the 30-minute for resistance, because it gives you more information. Morning. I co-sign, I have it, and it's a great tool. Yep, definitely is. HFX, who did your logo? I got someone, I'll be honest, I got someone off a website called Fiverr. I'll show you it. If you ever want someone to make you a logo or a video or something like that, we want Fiverr. Yeah, you probably all seen the adverts, but this company right here, you get people for freelancers. They can create logo design, custom WordPress, video, social media stuff. There's tons. So yeah, I got some guy to create it, but I came up with the HFX part in the actual writing. I did that bit, but the background bit, the freelancer guy done it for me, and then he put it all together, and he was like, "Oh, what do you want?" And I said, "Well, I want a like a bull and a bear, and I want my HFX like kind of overlapping it, and I want Forex Trading underneath. So I gave him all that, and then he just went away, and it took him like an hour, and he came back and he was like, yep, here you go, it's all ready. I was like, perfect. Okay, so if we look at the 30-minute, it's coming down to create like a bottom wick. Okay, so it's wick down at this point. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. Coming into the last 5 minutes of the 15. So yes. Seems like we got some lack of volume problems here. But yeah, since it's created a little bit of a bottom wick, right? If it does come up to break the high again, you could anticipate then for price to continue. So you could, since it's made a bottom wick, But then let's say you retook the buy, or let's say you took the buy since it's made a bottom wick, and then it comes down to break its own low. That's where you need to be, on the ball with the risk management, because then there's a higher probability that the candle's actually gonna, go bearish. But even though hasn't quite created a bottom wick, the first 15-minute candle is still respecting this area. So there is some good confluences right now. Okay, 15-minute candle's going to close bullish here in 1 minute 42 seconds. So if you haven't taken the entry yet and you've remained patient for the first half of this 30-minute candle, then you could anticipate, if the next 15-minute candle can respect the low and break the high, that we could continue moving up. But since it seems as though we're coming back up to this, oh yeah, here we go. Is it gonna make this move now, since it's created that bottom wick and now breaking the high? See what happens here. So we've got a minute left. As long as this candle can close like this, I would say it paves way for the next 15-minute to also continue moving bullish at that point. And you have a nice clean 15-pip range. And then also you have great opportunity to manage risk, because now, since the first half of the 30-minute candle is closing bullish, right? If the next candle breaks the low, it makes the trade very difficult at that point. So you can really manage your risk, and then you're expecting the second half of this 30-minute to continue to move up, and it shouldn't break its own low. It shouldn't break its own low, because if it breaks its own low in the second half of the candle, then it could come back below this range. It makes it very difficult. It makes it very messy. So you want to be making sure. So let's wait to see how this 15-minute candle closes here. I don't think it's necessarily having issues here. I think it's necessarily a volume problem, because when we're struggling to break through a zone on the like the 5 minutes, you know, it just shows a lack of volume. So first 15-minute candle did close bullish, right? So now if you was in buys at this point, let's say you're expecting the second half of this candle to continue moving up, right? You're expecting this 15-minute candle to break this high and continue on and respect this low. So really, from a risk management perspective, right, let's say your buys were somewhere over here, you already know that if it breaks this low, you probably want to get out of the majority of the position, you know, not even just 50%, because at this point in the last 15 minutes of that 30-minute, price should be continuing up at that point, you know. So yeah,
I'm in this now. Yeah.
yeah, nice. We'll see how it goes. Yeah,
I like it how on the 15-minute, obviously it's only like 4 or 5 pips to reduce risk.
Yeah, because if it breaks that low, you already know then that, you know, there's a higher probability that it's not going to work out. Oh, looks like it's pushing here. I think you should be, since this candle's moving up, I think once it surpasses this kind of wick area, I think it's going to continue on at that point. You know, and the other thing as well is, let's say your buy was somewhere over here. You can manage this trade in many ways, because since it's breaking the high, this candle, right, should not break its own low. So if this candle breaks its own low, you could close 50%. If the next candle then breaks this low, you could close 50%. So now, right now, let's say the buy is somewhere over here, you're losing 2 pips at first of half the position, and then the second half of the position, or you know, the whole 75% can be closed out at 5 pips. So you're coming out of a really small loss for the reward that is potential here. So it's looking good so far. It's broken the high in the second half, should continue on at this point. If we look on the 5-minute candles are breaking above this consolidation, so I think it's looking good. So yeah, you definitely have a few options here to manage your risk and manage this trade, because if this candle comes down and breaks its own low, then I would be closing 50%, you know, because then think about it again in terms of, think about it with every 15-minute candle, every 30-minute candle. So in the first half of this 15-minute candle, we've broken the high. So if it breaks its own low in the second half of the candle, it doesn't make sense for it to do that. You'd want it now to just continue, because it's already done the push. It's already broken the high. Where is your entry, Kels?
I got it in at 981.
981. Awesome. So you should be pushing into a little bit of profits here at this point. Nice. So yeah, you can set a nice little TP around 142.080. Yeah, this is awesome. So anybody in buys now, I think if this candle comes down to break its own low, I would be just closing out, because this should just continue on at this point. So yeah, should be moving into some profits. You can manage your risk. You can manage your risk at this point. But yeah, I think this should work out really nicely. Especially if this 5-minute can break through this area here. So yeah, like I say, we've put the risk parameters. See, the original stop loss, let's say from Kelsey's entry, was all the way down over here, right? That's like the original conservative stop loss. And look how much you're saving from this trade if it doesn't play out, because you're really focusing in on the smaller time frames to making sure that it's continuing in your anticipated direction. So I'll just leave those arrows there for a minute. Oh. Okay, so the 5-minute candle, the first 5-minute candle of this 15-minute candle is coming to a close. Looking like it's going to close strong over here, which is good. Very good. Yes, closing very strong here. Very nice. So yeah, this has no place coming back to break its own low at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've just set a partial stop loss now.
Awesome.
Below obviously the low.
Yeah, I like it.
It'd be nice because that's like only less than a pip away from my entry. So
Yeah, see, the thing is like if the 30 minutes got 9 minutes, if the 15 minutes got 9 minutes as well, you don't want it to be creating a bottom wick, you know, like the last few minutes of the candle, because then, you know, if it just dumps and you don't get a chance to, you know, like manage your risk, this is it. So I think this is going to be a beautiful buy if this plays out. We would have had two. Well, I didn't get in these buys, but I knew based off experience that these buys should play out. And we've provided the risk management parameters so that you can come out of this trade with a minimal loss if things don't happen. But here we go. It's breaking its own high at this point. If you take a look on the 5 minute, the 5 minute is breaking this high. So now you're expecting this 5 minute candle to continue. Ooh, perfect. Lovely. Look at this. Here we go. Should be moving into some profits here now. So, yeah, beautiful. Now it definitely has no business coming back to its own low. Keep an eye on it on the 5. But one 5 minute bearish candle does not mean it's going to reject or retrace. But what you want to be making sure is the 5 minute candles are still, you know, like respecting lows, respecting highs. But while you're in profit, you're in a position to manage risk, you know. Like even now you could say if it comes back to my entry, I could close 50%, you know, just because I want to be cautious. It's the last trade potentially you're going to be taking for the week. You know, you have plenty of options when price moves into profit. This is where a lot of people make mistakes, is when they have, or when they're in profit, they have this fixation that, you know, they're not going to accept a loss because it's already moved into profits. Whereas I think the good mentality to have is to focus on now that I'm in profit, I don't want to be like letting it, I don't want to be thinking that it's going to win, you know, just because it's been in profit doesn't mean it's going to win. So now I want to be making sure that I'm tracking this trade as it plays out to make sure that the confirmations are still there. I'm still confident in my analysis and that the trade is still playing out accordingly. And if there's little changes that are happening that are going to make me feel less comfortable or reduce the probability, you know. So, yes. You know, because now, look, if you think about it, it's the last 5 minutes of this candle. So this candle, again, it has no, like I say, it has no business coming back to break its own low at that point. But there we go. So, yeah, just going to focus on the 15 minute because if you're too fixated on the 5 minute, you don't want to get panicky. You know, so obviously I'm just looking at the 5 minute for confluence to making sure that the 5 minute candles are either still printing bullish. Even if this candle prints bearish, doesn't necessarily mean that now price is going to continue down. It's just one bearish candle. But we just wanted to look at the candles to making sure that, you know, they're looking like they want to continue in our direction. But since we're coming up to the last 45 seconds of this 5 minute, and then we're coming into the last 5 minutes, now it has no reason, like I say. So when you think about it like that, if it has no business coming to break its own low, really and truly, you would want to be out of most of your position if it does that, you know, especially since it's moving so much in your direction at this point. So we got 20 seconds left here. See how we get on. Is it going to be a last little 10-second push? And then you got one more 5-minute candle. Awesome. So the 5-minute candle also closed bullish. 15-minute candle still bullish. Everything's still bullish. So you have no reason to reduce your risk or anything at this point. If you want to be really safe, if you want to be really, really safe, which I don't recommend, but if it breaks this 5-minute low, then you could say, okay, well, maybe I'll close some position. It may not be, a lot of profit, maybe like 2 pips, but it's gonna cover potentially if it reverses on me. But that's being a little bit too conservative. But just throwing the ideas out there. But now you have no reason to. Yeah, I think this is looking good at this point. HFX, please. I have question. Why, if sometimes we are in chart, you going back to smaller time SM? Can that occur since yesterday or SM days ago and do SM and that? I'm not really sure what you mean by SM. Sorry. If you could explain it just a little bit clearer, I can 100% answer your question. But I'm not 100% sure what you mean. So yeah, if you just tell me what that means, and I'm sure we can I can answer your question here. I think if you're suggesting about, because I'm looking at the 5-minute time frame, I'm just trying to, while I'm we're breaking the lows over here, sometime SM sometime. We'll see, we're retracing a bit here. Yeah, see, this is really important now because it's the last 2 minutes. It's the last 2 minutes. So again, this candle came into profits and now it's retracing. So this is where people need to be cautious. You can either close partials at your entry. You could close 50% over here. Let's see if the rest can run. But this is quite a big 5-minute candle now. So, but yeah, I've set the parameters, so it's up to you guys. Okay, so let me reread this question with, I'll put the word sometime in it. So we got HFX, please, I have a question. Why, if sometime we are in chart, you going back to sometime? Can that occur since yesterday or sometime days ago? See, that doesn't make sense. I think you mean smaller time frames. I think. Well, I would presume so anyway. It must be smaller time frames because I've been looking at smaller time frames. Okay, so let's just presume. I think you're. Yeah, let me just see. So Kuwaiti, do you mean the smaller time frames? I'm a bit confused. Unless I'm a moron, but yeah. Okay, we got 50 seconds left for the 15-minute candle to close. Yeah, I mean, oh, small time frame. Yeah, okay, now that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I was a bit confused there. Right. All right, so, please have a question. Why, if sometime we're in the chart, you going back to smaller time frames, can that occur since yesterday or some days ago? And do smaller times? Okay. I think I get your question. So the reason why sometimes I'll be looking on the smaller time frames is, let's say my entry is based off the 15-minute. I want to be looking at the 5-minute to be making sure candles are going my way, respecting lows, respecting highs, right? If we look at this 15-minute candle now, since in the last few seconds it's retraced, it's closed like a weak bullish candle. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. Now, the 30-minute candle closed a strong bullish. Now, the problem here is the next 30-minute can wick down and then continue up. So then you have an issue, because then if it breaks this 15-minute low right here, you have a higher probability of getting stopped out. So if I was in buys right now, what I would be doing is I would have my full stop loss down over here, right? Because we should not surpass this low and this low. I would maybe have my 50% close right over here, and then let the rest run at that point, because now your risk is still way minimal for what the reward is, you know. So the risk is like four pips, right? And then see, now it's really broken this low, so I would be closing 50%, because it has no business breaking this low over here. So at that point, if it breaks this low, you can close 50%, and then if it breaks this low, I'd probably be getting out of the position. But at the same time, you can leave the rest to run at that point. But you see, this is why I was looking on the 5-minute time frame, because when we were looking on the 5-minute time frame, we could see that certain things were happening which could cause some problems. So since this 5-minute broke this low over here, there was a higher probability it would come back to where the entry was, you know. So yeah, it's just a lesson learned, I suppose. But this 30-minute needs to respect this low of the previous 30-minute in order for price to continue moving up. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. We haven't even had a 1 hour support created yet. So yeah, I think if this candle flips bullish and starts to head up, I think it's going to be okay to like maybe bring a stop loss below the current 15-minute if it starts to come up and then fill the wick. But I always expected, because of how weak this candle closed, they could break this low.
I actually got fully out, but it looks like it's going to flip now.
Yeah, where did you get out? When the break of the low?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you know, like if you sometimes maybe you'd rather get out with a really, really small loss, because that's probably what, like a pip, is it?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, like just over a pip.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
1.3, something.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. But maybe, you know, if it does play out, you could say, okay, well, I know for next time, just maybe close 50% and let the rest run at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it seems like it could do that. It seems like it could run on, because it's still respecting the 30-minute low, you see. You know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, but yeah, I mean, look, this is all learning experience. It's all learning, man. And that's not to say either that it isn't going to break this low, because if it does come down and break this low, I mean, then you got out with a really small loss compared to what it could have been. So there's always a positive. But in theory, since it's now flipping bullish after breaking this low, it should continue on at this point. But that's for you to like, what's the word?
Yeah, I'll work through it.
Yeah, like just learning from experience and you know, these little minor mistakes, and that's how you just tweak. You know, you just tweak and tighten the bolt, tighten up your skills, and that's it. But yeah, so I would have closed 50% and then let the rest run, and then now you should be moving back into like some profits, and then yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, sorry, Quaty, I didn't really understand the question there. It was a bit difficult, but we got there in the end. But there's one thing I would say: if you're a newer trader, I personally wouldn't be focusing on the 5-minute, you know, because 5 minutes is going to drive you crazy if you're someone who's, you know, no experience. Like when I wasn't profitable, I was focusing in on the 5-minute, and it drove me mad. Then when I became profitable, and it's only like maybe since 3 months ago, I started actually looking at the 5-minute. Before that, I said to myself, I ain't even clicking on the button. I wasn't even willing to have it up here because it would just create distraction, because it's such a weak time frame confirmation. Did you take the trade? No, I didn't take the trade. I had buys this morning. I took my one trade. I've seen this play out many times, but I just thought, I just thought I probably want to just sit this one out. But I think if people still left their 50% to run, that should take you back into profit. And yeah, if this candle can continue up to fill this wick, then that's good. Okay. Good morning, HFX. Good morning, Mr. Gill. Thanks for all the valuable information you provide in your streams. I appreciate that. It's very kind. I've learned a lot from you. What are your views on the volume in the market when taking the trades? From your 4 years experience in journaling, do you think your trades have higher probability in London and pre-London than in the low volume period between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m.? I'm always a bit skeptical to take a trade after 9 a.m. Thank you. I would say actually that it's one or the other. I would say that you typically, if you start to see volume, let's say like you say between I think, did you say 7 a.m.? Oh yeah, so pre-London to London Open, right? Let's say there's volume between pre-London to London Open. Typically that will be the push, right? That will be the move. Otherwise, if you're seeing price range in pre-London, London session, then I've seen plenty of breakouts happen after 9 a.m. I've seen plenty of moves happen after 9 a.m. It's just one of those like later on volume pushes in the session, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I would just say if you're seeing volume pre-London, then expect volume then. If you're seeing volume after 9 a.m., then expect the volume then, you know, and then you can expect maybe a continuation through to pre-New York session. So I would just say from any time from like 6:30 all the way to like 10:30, 11 a.m., there's any time there could be volume, but it's just more likely around the London Open, pre-London hours. And then if nothing happens then I'm like, okay, maybe we'll see some volume come in around 9:30, 10. But it all depends. But yeah, I would just say it more happens around the pre-London London hours. But I would say like 30% of the time it happens after 9 a.m. My broker charges 3 pips a spread. Do I need to change? Feel like I'm reasonable? I would say yes. If it's for GJ, I would say yes. I would say if you're looking for a good recommended broker, obviously I've got one on the screen there, Blackpool Markets. They're a good broker. You actually get a better commission deal if you go through my affiliate link in the bio or in the description, sorry. Or Vantage FX is good. But I would say if you're trading, let's say GJ, you don't really want to be paying. I think even 2 pips is pretty high. I would say it's got to be around 1 to 1.5 is fair, and is about average for a good broker who offers good spreads. So yeah, because with Vantage, I'd say it's around a pip to a pip and a half. I know Blackpool's the same, around a pip to a pip and a half. So yeah, I'd say 3 pips is a bit too high. Oh, we've actually overrun the stream here today. I completely forgot. Usually would have finished like 9 minutes ago or so. Okay. So yeah, no problem. So yeah, I think so. Let's just conclude here in a minute. So I think that if people are still holding buys, and they took my advice, and they're reducing their stop loss from down over here to up over here, saving themselves around 10 pips already, I would just say, see how this candle closes. If it closes bullish, then you can start to bring your stop loss below this candle. So if you think about where your stop loss was, it was originally down over here. Then you could say you could bring it down over here. Then you can start to raise it up over here. So now your risk is just getting smaller and smaller. So you want this candle to close bullish. If this candle can close bullish, I'd bring my stop then below that candle. And then you would anticipate the second half of the current 30-minute to also continue moving up and respect this low over here. So that's what I would say. And then, yeah. But if you closed out positions, then, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But you just have to learn from the fact that you should, in not every case, because some cases there's going to be like a reversal signal. But I think in this situation, this was just a liquidity grab to continue higher. But yeah, it looks like now we're coming up. So yeah, I would start to bring my stop loss below this current candle at this point. Because it has no business coming back below this area now, since it's coming up to potentially fill the wick and then continue on. So yeah, good lesson there today. So I think the buys will still play out. Just one of those where you have to manage risk and then leave the rest to run. Because then if you leave the rest to run and it goes into profits, you're going to have covered back that 50% loss and you're going to be in profit. It may not be a lot, as much as you wanted, but it's still profit. So yeah. Let's round off here looking at a few of the pairs. So gold's just still ranging. Gold is just consolidating. It's been consolidating pretty much all day. FTSE moved bullish. We spoke about that, but not really doing much now. Seems like a real lack of volume here today. GJ currently respecting the low of the previous 30-minute. We've just discussed the buys on GJ and how you could manage your risk, how you could bring your stop loss, reduce and tighten up the stop loss to reduce the risk now. So yeah, I think this is paving the way for the next candle to continue. GCAD, we didn't really speak of GCAD, but it looks like GCAD doing the same thing as GJ. I think this could have been a really good buy over here on the break of the high with GCAD. But there you go. Euro JPY, we knew it broke out. Oh, it seems like it rejected this area. Looking at the 15 minutes, coming back to maybe create a support that you need a support to be created here. A break of that high. And then you'd expect this minor resistance to break with volume. But it seems like we do have a lack of volume. Let's look at Euro NZD. Euro NZD has created support here on the 30 minutes. So it's definitely paving way for the next 30-minute candle to continue moving up. So there we go. Okay. Oh, looks like the 15 minutes pushing up over here. It should fill the wick and continue on. So yeah, I think the buys were going to play out. It just was one of those where you needed to manage your risk, to be making sure you're being, cautious, and then you're leaving the... Oh, look at this now. It should continue on. It's broken that wick. I think it should continue on at this point. So yeah, perfect. So anyone left in buys, I'll be securing your positions at 10 pips and then leaving a runner to run to 142, 150. But there we go. So thanks everyone for coming on today. Thanks to everyone on the Zoom. Appreciate it. So
it was a good day. Cheers.
Yeah, good day. Yeah. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. We've got Stop Loss Matters coming on tomorrow as a guest. So yeah, we've got him coming on tomorrow as a guest. So Friday tomorrow, last day of the week. I think it's probably going to be a no trading day for me tomorrow, as we took the win here today, and we called out the second set of buys that should play out now. I'm really confident that these buys should play out. So hopefully people left 50% to run. But there you go. So thanks everyone. Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. GMT. You know the drill. So yeah, thanks very much everybody. Have a great day. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Oh, also, don't forget to drop a like on the stream if you caught those buys earlier, or if you learned something today that you didn't know yesterday. I'd appreciate a like on the stream. But yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do is look what you could learn today that you didn't know yesterday, or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys there, but I really think GJ should continue up at this point. So yeah, no worries, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. And no overtrading. No overtrading.